Nothing at all. Keep going back to work, boo. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to Netflix's live adaptation of One Piece. We're on season 2, episode 2, which is called Good Whale Hunting. I see what they did there. So yeah, last episode I feel like was just a nice re-entry into the world of One Piece, and we stopped in a brand new city because we wanted to basically stack up and stock up before we headed to the Grand Line. But of course, it couldn't just be a peaceful little sightseeing trip. We were introduced to a few new characters. What's his name? The smoke guy. His name. Guys, I did actually watch some of the anime, but it's been years, so a lot of the names are gone. I call him Timo Wolverine, but the 2 cigars. We got to see his gum fruit ability, which was crazy. Anyways, there was hijinks that ensued. My boy Luffy almost met his maker, but you know, God was on his side, and he managed to get out of that one. And Zoro also met somebody who looks a lot like his childhood crush, the person who taught him all that he knows about swordsmanship. And it turns out she may end up being kind of in a situation like Luffy with Kobe last season, right? Where someone who both kind of respects, but also feels like potentially Zoro's doing the wrong thing. So yeah, she was offered in the last episode to join the other side of things, even though currently she's working as a Marine. I'm ready to jump into the episode. Let's do that. Just before I do though, a reminder to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now.
I don't know about navigation, but I do know a ship can't travel up a mountain.
You sure?
Nobody knows how it works. That's good enough for me.
You sure can't? I remember that much from the anime.
If our navigator says how we get to the Grand Line, then this is how we get to
Period. Full trust in Nami, like a good captain should.
That's a lot of shipwrecks.
See,
They didn't have you guys.
Bottom of the ocean.
Silver lining? Can he get some help? Why is he steering by himself?
Okay, that wasn't so bad.
Why would you jinx it, bro? We just started. Rapids! Whee! No? You know, Luffy's actually out of his mind when you think about it. Like, you're the one person who can't fall in the water, bro, and you're in the most, like, the least secure position on the boat.
The man's fighting me!
Why, again, is Usopp doing this alone? Y'all could be helping him, just a little. Not the tangerine. Oh God, we about to lose the chef. Oh.
Keep fighting the current.
No one else wants to help Usopp? Finally! Took y'all this long? I'm mad as hell. Like, brother, I know you think I'm the strongest here, but can you help? Oh!
Break.
Muscles for show. Her.
Brace for impact.
Pull like you mean it, Luffy. Pull like you mean it. Not bad. One would think you've done this before. Whoa, too soon.
We're not out of this yet.
Thank you. Y'all just a bunch of jinxes. You don't say that till you're on calm waters. You still going with no rudder, yo. No rudder, but no, what do you call that? Wheel. One thing about Luffy is always gonna find the fun in it. Mm-hmm.
Come on, Mary!
I like the way they showed the going up the current, because in the anime, obviously, it was unrealistically steep. Kind of impossible looking, but I like that they made it look way more possible this way.
We did it.
Sure did.
It's the Grand Line.
Wait, what goes up must go down?
Now all we have to do is go down.
Yay! You know it's gonna be Luffy's favorite part, please. Oh, that was surprisingly smooth. The mixture of terror versus having a great time. It's like Splash Mountain on steroids.
Whatever it is.
I was about to say, are there brakes on this or an emergency brake on the Mary? Oh, well, y'all about to have your Jonah moment. My biblical girlies, you know what I'm talking about. He said, move, get out the way.
5 more minutes, Tatan.
Really? You have time for a nap? When you're the only one outside of the whale?
Give me back my crew!
Brady can't hear you over all the bashing. Ooh, you got limits. You should go for the eye.
If I could swim, you'd be in so much trouble right now.
Sure, let's hold on to that dream. Oh, that's a hell of a needle.
Who are you?
For those who have the phobia, condolences. Aim true. Oh, wait, but if he sinks, well,
My friends are still in there. We have to get them out of there now.
Your friends are dead.
whoa, calm down, Mr. Negative. Where's your proof? Lovely setup that you have here, though.
I need to get my friends out of that whale.
A sentence I never thought he'd say in his life.
Eluded whale is trying to break through the red line, which is impossible. As for your crew, it's useless.
Only if you give up.
Your crew is dead.
You don't know my crew.
Period. Zoro's trying to cut himself out right now. There's a lot of room in this whale. The good news is you won't run out of oxygen too quickly.
Why don't you let me come up with a plan this time?
I didn't know the whale was gonna be there, okay? At least I didn't break the whipstaff with my giant muscles.
We needed help.
Not a compliment.
Exactly. He worked hard for those muscles. Thank you.
You think you can find one out there?
Out there. On those perilous wrecks.
Get in there. Swim in them stomach juices.
Well, they're gone. I will work out a plan to get us out of here.
I'll handle it.
A sword isn't gonna get us out of a whale.
You sure?
We'll see about that.
There's that little dangly thing for the throat. I think if he go and tickle that, that whale's gonna wanna.
Here's my petition. I don't care. Why don't you tell him that?
Why don't you tell me yourself, Captain?
Ooh. This man with his ass bob still there. He hasn't grown that shit out yet. Or cut it off.
I thought I'd stop by and check up on things.
Check up on you.
I have a matter to discuss with you.
Stay away from my grandson.
Passed out, thrown up more than I have during training. And we deserve some shore leave.
Are you feeding strays now?
Hey,
You weren't exactly a model recruit. when
thank
started.
you. Without your gum fruit, you wouldn't be shit. Let's be real. Not gum, sorry, your devil fruit.
Have we learned more by shadowing you in your meeting?
In private. If you don't want to explore, you can return to the ship.
He said, Kobe, I know you love to eavesdrop. Hi, friend.
Hi.
I think y'all can get along. You're both nerds. I hate to tell you, sir, he will literally never stop knocking. Did he just scream?
Because nothing gets in the way of Monkey D. Luffy and his crew.
You're not going to give up.
No, it's not in his vocabulary.
There's only one way to approach Laboon safely and see if your friends are alive in there.
Baboon, you named the whale?
No, it came with it.
Right? How rude. He didn't give birth to it. His mama did.
You remind me of someone. He couldn't shut up either.
Really? Do you share? Secret lab. Luffy's like, I'm not sure what that whole statement was about, but I'll take it as a compliment.
A rare dark mark on the sterling record of Captain Smoker.
He called you a bitch.
I have intel that the Straw Hats are heading to find the One Piece. Answer Gold Roger's
Like
call.
every other pirate.
Not the first. Won't be the last.
Exactly.
Because he's trying to finish what Gold Roger started.
Are you comparing Luffy to Roger?
Yes, directly.
You didn't see how he smiled in the face of death, just like Gold Roger did. I need to stop him. Any means necessary.
Yo, the person you have a problem with is long dead, bro.
I understand you want to protect your grandson.
You understand nothing.
That part.
I've given up trying to protect Luffy.
Yeah, Luffy can protect himself now.
Their only option to enter the Grand Line is through Reverse Mountain. Chances are they won't survive the voyage,
If you believe that, you wouldn't be here.
if you can call it that, is denied.
Per.
The Straw Hats are a speck of dust in the gears of the Grand Line.
Translation, I'm absolutely pulling rank based on nepotism. What you gonna do about it?
If you want to do your duty,
Duty.
I'll show you what a real threat looks like.
Damn, letting Luffy get away really pissed him off, down to only one cigar. He loses one more time, he might just quit smoking. And then what?
Well, you can never be prepared for the unknown, buddy.
You seem pretty unbothered by that.
See, in the kitchen.
I mean, what's he gonna do? Worry at this point?
Oh, he's not even been dead long. He's still fresh.
Is he dead?
He's on top of the raft. You gotta move him so I can get
I love that you gotta move him.
No, why don't you move him and I'll get the rope?
No, I'm holding the lamp.
I think I already did my part by giving you that pep talk, you know, so I'll just be over here.
Damn, can y'all not do it together? Children?
I can do it. I can do it.
Just use your foot to move his body. No, man. Stop touching it and grab it! Appropriate response. Two baseball
We'll be
bats.
taking it.
Wheel? Okay. He said, beware my feet. A fury. Yeah, you don't want to get hit by one of those.
Skilled for a man who only uses his legs.
Does he only use his legs?
It's a style choice. Judging by your outfit, you're unfamiliar with the concept.
Ooh, the stray. The man just likes a bit of color.
Sanji! Watch your step!
Listen, bro, I need you to focus.
So someone else is out there.
Likely on their way to the ship.
We'll need to be able to sail out of here as soon as I get this whale to open his mouth.
What is that?
A harpoonish kind of thing.
You said I couldn't get us out of here with a sword, so
I use a shovel.
I made a big sword.
When life gives you swords, just make a bigger sword.
I'll use this to poke that big punching bag looking thing.
What did I say? The uvula. That's what it's called. It's okay, babe. A lot of people don't know what it's called. Oh my God, not a vulva.
Whatever. Then you will be puked to freedom.
I'm sick.
Do you know where my compass went?
Mm-hmm. Hey, girl, let's be friends. Don't need to fight. Y'all, I love girl fight, but we don't need to fight, ladies. Let's be besties. My girl needs some femme energy. Come on.
Zoro, a little help here!
You don't need help, girl. You got this. Man, do we have to go for the kill right off the bat?
But I need your ship.
Let it go.
She got friends too. That's why I said we should be friends.
Did I miss something?
Nothing at all. Keep going back to work, boo. Why don't we find you some books? You can find out the difference between a vulva and an uvula.
How long is this gonna take?
Luffy, my guy.
Up to 20 a day. Stop him ramming his head into the red line.
Why does he hit his head like that? Why do you take care of him?
Good question.
Is he your pet?
Can he get back to making his sedative, though?
Not really a people person either.
Feel
All
that.
I ever wanted was to be left alone.
I picked that up from this setup.
I made a promise too.
Flashback. My brother. My brother. My brother.
Apologies for docking while we repair our ship. I'm known in the West Blue as Calico Yorkie, captain of the Rumbar Pirates.
Really?
It don't cause me any trouble.
Well, you jinxed it.
I hate your music, and I have more than enough food.
So unfriendly.
some of our booze?
Yeah, you're talking my language. Why does this guy look like the One Piece version of Slash from Guns N' Roses?
The crew started to get attached, especially when they realized how much Little Laboon loves music.
Laboon just trying to find his mama, aka this ship. Oh, Laboon just wants a family, y'all. Now he's been suffering from all these indigestion from these ships. Lyrics a little bit weird, but otherwise, good song.
If Laboon finds himself in danger, every man on my ship will sacrifice himself for him.
Aw. We love animal lovers.
Taking on a vulnerable creature like that, letting him loose in such dangerous waters. Glad it's not on my conscience.
You're a bit of a manipulator, friend. He's a good man.
I wouldn't have agreed to this if I hadn't been 6 drinks deep.
Liar.
You're a good man, Crocus.
You are, even if you're crotchety.
And return right back here from the other side of this mountain.
You broke his heart. Aw, he's tearing up. So what you're telling me is all Crocus needs to do is play some damn music?
Laboon's crew left. They never returned. I've been set out myself to search for them.
Wow.
I tried my best to get him to stop when I told him what I'd learned. Laboon! You needed to know the truth! They're not coming back.
I don't believe it, Grandpa.
Before you kill yourself.
For Laboon, the pain of hitting those rocks was lesser than the pain of his broken heart. Look at that. You said you're not an animal person, and look what you did. You did a mercy.
Now I do all I can to keep Laboon from hurting himself.
Merciful, empathetic.
He'll never accept that his crew's not coming back.
Ooh, not the double meaning for you, Luffy.
Calico Yorkie was right to trust you.
It doesn't matter.
Did he make the sedative yet?
Sedative is losing its effectiveness.
Well, yeah, 20 times a day will do it.
To get him to accept, his crew is gone.
New crew, new family?
You accepted.
Oh, double meaning, like I said. Are you and Laboon one and the same?
Well, be careful.
You don't have to worry about me.
Laboon's awake.
Why are you here?
Why did you want to take our ship?
That's pretty
One can't
obvious.
just walk out of a whale.
Right? Like, that's probably the most obvious question.
Ridiculous costumes. Unfounded overconfidence.
Is it unfounded?
Some guy who called himself Mr. Seven.
Hey!
And now he's Mr. Three and a quarter.
So our reputation precedes us.
Who are they?
They are Baroque works. For a long time, the Marines...
That was a great... I love the mash cuts this episode. Very smooth.
Merely a rumor. A dark whisper. But now they're growing bold.
All right, back to two cigars. Damn.
Charlestown is only the latest Marine
The eavesdroppers. I knew it wouldn't
destiny.
take long before Kobe showed up.
Code names. To keep their identities a mystery.
It's just numbers. It's not
The
that
true
deep.
identity of their leader, Mr. Zero, is unknown.
Wow.
I wasn't asking permission.
But your mission is this. Capture a Baroque Works agent alive. Gathering.
Worry about that.
Why me?
You're focused.
Yeah, you get the job done.
Ruthless. You'll do whatever it takes.
And currently you can beat up my grandson, so.
Organization of assassins. They sent their Mr. Seven to try to recruit me a while back.
Assuming you said no.
He's no longer with us.
I cut him in half.
Yeah. We picked up on that. Okay. Bless your blunt heart. Nice. The grabbing.
Throw them overboard.
I don't
To
think
get
our
slowly
captain would want us to join
digested.
anyone.
Our captain isn't here right now, is he?
Sorrow.
Magnetic fields are completely different here. Only works with a log pose.
You do have a log pose.
Yeah.
Stop asking relevant questions.
At least we kept our ship intact. You two clearly didn't.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea where you are?
Inside the Grand Line.
Usopp! Just stay calm!
I will not!
That's very valid. He's like, I'm about to die. I'm not going to stay calm. I will die screaming.
You'll die.
The D in the middle of his, name is for dead ass crazy. Love the Tarzan pose. He screamed even louder.
You don't get to eat my grub!
Right in the soft tissue. He said, simmer down now. All I need to do is spray a little ocean water on you. You're useless.
Pull on 3. 1, 2.
We gotta take the help. Have we meditated on a better approach next time? The soft tissue punch, unfortunately, was not very effective. Music, you caught on.
Wave goodbye, but don't you cry, your memories remain.
He said new friend.
Wave goodbye, but don't you cry, your memories remain.
Hey. Okay. Hi. Can you throw out my friends now? Talk nice. Didn't have to bully him.
You end up somewhere you never thought you would. And you meet people who stay.
Oh, not you touching Gramps' shriveled heart.
Please. Let them go.
They don't even taste good. She's like true teamwork. My ghast, Flabbert. Look who was wrong. You will be damned. He's like, I can't stand that kid. Kind of love him, but I can't stand him.
Caught spying.
His new friend.
Eavesdropped from behind a few doors in my day.
He's basically an expert in espionage.
He is. I'm surprised he wasn't behind that door.
Captain Smokers warned me against talking about my dreams too much.
We want to hear it.
But if I could, I would hunt down every one of those swords and take them away from the bad men that don't deserve them.
And what if you become the bad person who doesn't deserve them?
Because I know what that's like. Garp teaches us that following orders doesn't make you a good Marine.
Facts.
It's following a code.
Sounds like the Vice Admiral's a great teacher.
He has his moments.
Abuse aside.
You know, if you ever get sick of living in a lighthouse, there's a lot of room inside Laboon.
That's very, very awkward and kind of weird when you say it.
To live inside a whale?
If things ever truly go to shit.
He's like, when I'm ready to have my final voyage, maybe.
I don't think I really anticipated just how different things were going to be here. I don't have the right skills. I don't have
You have the skills. You just don't have all the tools yet.
How am I supposed to navigate you when I don't even know where I'm going?
That's all of us, sweetheart. We just figuring this ish out day to day.
It locks onto an island from one of 7 possible magnetic fields. So even 2 ships that leave the same place might not follow the same course.
Just like life. This is all about having your own journey.
I'd be happy to show you how it works.
Thanks, Gramps.
And give it to you for your journey.
Thank you.
I think you're the right person to have it.
Oh.
Some of the best navigators in the world couldn't get as far as you've come already.
That's right. Pat yourself on the back, girl. We all just struggling through, but we deserve a little pat for how far we've come.
Done!
You defaced a whole whale, Luffy? Come on now.
It's a symbol of your friendship with the Straw Hats. So don't you ever hit your head against that wall again. Huh?
Period.
You're one of us now, Laboon. We'll come back to you.
He's heard that promise before.
I need you to stay here. Keep watch over Logtown.
We'll see.
Await further instruction. Is that understood?
It's not.
I'm going with you. I have a Gold Roger of my own to hunt down, and I'm going to capture him with my own hands. And anyone else unworthy of a sword in their possession.
She's got her own goals, pal.
You know what Baroque Works is capable of. You really want to get mixed up in that for a sword?
It means that much to her.
Your funeral. Let's go.
Look at that. You knocked on the door and it opened. Good job, girly.
And don't do a little.
Let her do her dance.
What are the chances that the people on the next island are as friendly as Crocus?
Virtually none.
No way to know what's coming next. That's part of the fun, I guess.
Look at you opening your horizons, Usopp.
Perhaps he's the one we've been waiting for.
Of course you were friends. Luffy didn't see that thing the whole time he was there, huh?
Luffy? Next island is straight ahead.
Easy peas. And we're done our adventure. All right. Well, that was episode 2, and I loved it. The whole thing around the whale. Of course, the title having whale in it. I love that they kept the theme throughout, quite literally in this case. But again, the messaging of the episode more being about the realities of life in the sense of sometimes you make connections in this life or you get drawn to people because of circumstance, but because of life, because of circumstances, sometimes you get pulled apart. Eventually you drift, and people take that very differently depending on the circumstances and of course what they've been through. But we've got this metaphorical relationship between Luffy and Laboon. Laboon, who is this whale who got separated from his pod, attached itself to these pirates many moons ago, and you know, they entertained him, and then it kind of became this beautiful little bond between them and this creature. But the time came that they had to go into the Grand Line, and while they were at that point thinking of maybe bringing Laboon along, we see the Crocus, you know, kindly, very thoughtfully said, yeah, no, like he's not going to survive over there. Like there's different beasts beyond the Red Line and he's not going to make it. So if you do care for him, he's got to stay here because this is where he belongs. And basically he's like, okay, well, you know, he's always been around people. So he left him in Crocus's care. And I love how Crocus is like, you know, I don't like people. I don't like animals. You know, he's trying to do the whole, I don't really care about anything. I just want to be on my own thing. But he's actually a good person. You know, the same way that he let them stay on his little island while they were refueling and repairing and gave them, you know, everything they needed when he didn't have to. Of course, he took care of Laboon, especially when he saw that Laboon was so heartbroken over their departure and started hurting himself to try to get to them. Again, he could have just left him, right? If he had just left Laboon alone, Laboon wouldn't be with us right now. But he's empathetic, he's caring, he understands what Laboon was going through, even if he thought it was foolish. So, you know, transfer that onto Luffy and of course the connection he has with his crew. We see that obviously he didn't end up inside of Laboon, but he was on the outside. He got a chance to talk to Crocus. And again, his being, you know, we always know that the theme with Luffy is that he's a very persistent person, and he's so pure of purpose that it makes people let their guard down and want to trust him and want to help him and want to listen to him. And so that's what happened with Crocus, because I think if it had been anybody else, Crocus would have ignored them. But, you know, Luffy not only got him to understand the story behind what made Laboon act the way that he did, but also the parallel, right? Like, you know, because when Luffy said, well, why doesn't Laboon just, like, it's been years and they haven't come back, and especially since we heard that Crocus said, I explained to him that they left the Grand Line a long time ago and they're not coming back, why won't he stop, you know? And, you know, Luffy was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I love that Crocus turned around and said, yeah, but look at you, like, would you leave your friends right now, even though it's a smarter thing to do, right? Think about these, like, just kind of put yourself in Laboon's shoes. So anyways, I really like that they showed the parallels between their stories, but obviously in this case, thankfully, there was more hope for Luffy because his people were attainable. And I love that he tried to use force in the beginning to try to get Laboon to give up the ships, but then he eventually remembered the story and realized that Laboon is just lonely. He's just brokenhearted. And as I said in the episode, you know, I was being half serious, but it's true. Like, I think the other reason Laboon kept banging his head was because, you know, physical pain sometimes is a great distraction from emotional pain, which cuts a lot deeper, and the abandonment that he feels. So anyway, thankfully we see that Luffy took a different approach. He realized that fighting was not the right option in this case. It was more of showing love, showing empathy, showing a bit of sympathy for this poor whale that was just lonely, just missed his friends. And so thankfully coaxed his friends out of there, and they gained 2 new passengers. That was the other side of the episode, of course, was the introduction of Wednesday and Nine. Wednesday being the person that we're going to see a lot more of. You know, I know this part of the anime I do have a little bit more of a recollection of. I know that Wednesday was very, very instrumental in their navigation once they got beyond the Grand Line. So yeah, I know she's going to be there going forward. We started to get a little bit more information on Baroque Works. You know, last season we didn't focus much on them at all. Of course, we saw the very brief moment of Seven. And then of course there was another reference to, I'm trying to remember what number we saw last season as well. But the point is we haven't talked much about it. So we're going to get more into it in this season for various reasons, because, you know, from this point forward in the story, Baroque Works becomes far more of a presence. And so, yeah, we discovered that, you know, obviously as far as the crew, it's Zoro who knows the most about the Baroque Works because he's had a little bit of interaction with them, but everybody else is oblivious. At least they're not completely blind to who they, excuse me, who they are, what they're about, and the amount of power they could potentially wield. Like we heard, you know, we saw Zoro being a little bit arrogant about, you know, defeating Seven, but he was only one of many, right? And they all have different abilities. And then as we saw back in episode 1, there is the lady who is able to literally move her arms to other people. Her devil fruit allows her to effectively be many places at once. So that is something that Zoro would have a very hard time fighting despite his skills. So yeah, that was good to see. But yeah, we're back on the water. We've got more of the tools we need to navigate the Grand Line. And as I said, I'm sure that once the trust factor is increased with Wednesday, she'll be able to contribute as well. And then on the shore, we had a smaller storyline behind Garp showing up and Town to speak specifically to Smoker, basically like saying, get, you know, effectively stay away from my grandson. He's like, I know out of all people who probably can wallop my boy's ass right now, it's you, and I need you to leave him alone. And of course, Smoker's like, you can't stop me. Like, my whole purpose, my goal is to take out anybody who's like Gold Rogers. I know they explained it last episode, but honestly, I feel like his whole morale behind it is very weak. But, you know, maybe we'll get a little bit more about why it's such a passionate thing, because all he said was just that he didn't like the way it, you know, it inspired people all those years ago, but it's got to be deeper than that. But anyway, we see as the side story of all that, the minions getting together, they kind of got to get to know each other. And I knew right away that Kobe and the sword nerd would get along because they both nerd out about the stuff that they love. And I just like that Kobe gave her a really great pep talk. You know, his pep talk was a combination of what he'd gotten from Luffy last season, as well as what Garp's taught him. Effectively that in the end, you know, the type of Marine you want to be is up to you. You know, you don't have to follow orders. It doesn't mean just being like, you know, the cut and dried, yes sir, yes ma'am type of person. It's about having a code and sticking to that and doing what you need to do to live up to that code. And so whatever is important to you, whatever your passion is, whatever it was that drove you to be a Marine, that's what should drive you and that's what you should be doing, and not just trying to impress people like Smoker, who at the moment, or at least before this, I should say, didn't really respect her for being real. He just kind of treated her like a subordinate and little else. So love that she took that to heart. And then we heard her say that basically her purpose now is that she feels like the 50 great swords shouldn't be in the hands of any pirates, or what was the other ones? Sell swords, or I guess people who steal them, right? So she wants to go out there and find them and collect them all, take them from the unworthy. And as I said, you know, she's kind of got a bit of a, they're giving the hint that there's a bit of a dark streak to her. Nothing crazy at this point, but significant. And, you know, the fact that she was approached by Baroque Works and she decided to keep that to herself is usually a heavy indicator to us as an audience that she's not 100% dismissing the idea of potentially joining with them if she feels like they would be a better avenue to getting to what she wants to get to, which is getting these swords. And specifically, you know, her ego was heavily hurt by Zoro, so she wants to get to him. She wants to get that sword back, but more than that, she wants to beat Zoro because she feels like he embarrassed her. And let's face it, I think high-key, low-key, she's got a little crush on him. But digressing. So I love that we kind of got a little bit more insight into her for that. And, you know, she's now going to be joining Smoker to go to the Grand Line. Of course, they're not on the mission to go after Luffy anymore officially, but we know that if the opportunity comes, they probably will go for it. But more than that, like I said, she's now saying she's going to want to get those swords back. But as I said in the episode, with that little shade of darkness that's kind of floating around her, you know, it's all well and good to say that you're on a moral path to, you know, fix something or make something better. But when your mindset is that you are the person to decide who's worthy of having such things, that's typically where things can get very skewed. And I can definitely see right now that they're building her up to potentially become that kind of person where it really won't matter how many good things that Zoro does with his sword. She'll always believe that he's not worthy because she wants the sword, right? Like, why is she worthy? Why does she get to be the one who determines who's allowed to have one of these swords? Like, how can you determine that? Is it by their acts? Is it by what they've done in the past? Do they have to live an entire life of cleanliness? In which case they wouldn't be able to get the sword till they're about to drop dead, because in this life, there's always potential to do real good or real bad up until the day you take your last breath. No one can really give the full accounting of what your life life was until you're no longer with us. So we know who's ever gonna get the sword, sis, is the point, right? But anyways, it'll be interesting to see where she goes with this journey, and whether or not this at least seemingly altruistic motive will continue to be that way as she gets further and further into the Grand Line, and of course dealing with more and more morally corrupt people. But yeah, another good episode. I enjoyed a lot. Love the look. Again, I just love the look and feel of this show. Like, it's so easy to get immersed in it watching it, and that means it's a really good sign to, you know, the way they've built out the season. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.